Good morning, people. This is David J. Price, and I'm here with
Bernardo Ansel.
You are listening to the Lottery of Life podcast,
where we go into depth on how men across the world can improve their lives through the three main areas of life,
which are finances, personal development, and overall general fitness. So if you're ready to go on a journey to mental improvement, then relax and have a seat because you are at the right place. Welcome to episode 6 of the Lottery of Life podcast. If you're a returning listener, then welcome back. But if it's your first time, my name is David Price, here with
Bernardo Ansel.
And here at the Lottery of Life, we start every single episode with a quote or a motivational piece to get your mind rolling. So, Nard, let's hear the quote.
The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. And if you are at peace, you are living in the present." What do you think about this quote, David?
I think it's an interesting take. For me, I don't resonate with like depression or anxiousness. I'm not perfect, but when
Okay, you don't resonate with these mental disorders, but how do you feel about what he's saying? Do you agree with what he's saying? Do you feel that he's wrong?
I think it is. I think he is right. I just think it's more ways to look at it. Like, for example, when I look in the past, or if I'm thinking about the past, I'm more so reminiscent on the good times and having nostalgic moments, remembering the good parts of my past, and it's going to bring me joy. When I'm thinking about the future, I'm not necessarily getting anxious or nervous about, the outcome as if it's uncertain. I know my outcome, and I know, I'm certain that I will receive whatever I'm intending to receive. So I'm actually excited, and I'm actually like kind of curious, like, dang, what I'm going to do when I get this, So I have a different aspect or outlook on looking at the past or even looking at the future. But I do believe living in the present is the best way to basically have that mindset, like to have an outlook on life. You do want to live in the moment, because my sales manager actually said this quote. I don't know if it was a quote, but he said it one time, smooth as hell. He was like, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Yo, that's hard.
And that shit really like struck me. Like one day, and I slick was going through some shit too, and like I was new to the job and shit, and I probably was, I don't remember, but when he said that, I was like, damn. And it kind of changed, gave me another outlook on life right then and there. So, yeah, that's how I would take the quote. What you take from it?
What I take from it, I kind of agree with him 100%, because when you talk about the past, usually when people are depressed, they're usually holding a bad situation or something negative that happened to them. That's why they feel sad 9 times out of 10. I'm not a therapist, so I don't really know how depression works 100%, but I do know that's like an idea, because a lot of people, when they get hurt, they kind of start seeing that moment over and over again. So, they start having that trauma. And, anxiousness is kind of like a worry about, it's kind of, I feel like anxiousness is worry. You're worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're either worrying about your future or you're worrying about something that's most likely that won't happen. Kind of like people, I know this girl one time, she told me she has a fear of driving just because she's been in one accident. So every time she gets in the car, she thinks she's going to have an accident. Yeah. And it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it doesn't. And 9 times out of 10, she's going to drive home, and she's going to drive wherever she's going and make it back home.
Yeah. See, fear is false evidence appearing real. Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? You don't really have, a lot of times we have fears that are, we develop these things within our mind based off of things that we've seen other people go through, or even ourselves, like past things that we've gone through. But it's not necessarily a definite thing, or it's not something that's set in stone. But when you have a fear for something and you never overcome it, you never try it, then you'll never get a chance to realize that it's not even as bad as what you thought.
Exactly. Because, Will Smith he's out here living his best life, doing something, and he's kind of like he's going over the top. He's going submarine diving, hang gliding, all types of stuff. Things that people would be fearful to do. Like, I remember you went skydiving, didn't you?
Man, yes, bro. Yeah, that was
how was that moment? How did that feel?
Man, that was a big moment for me. That was the biggest leap I ever made, physically, spiritually, and mentally. Like, that shit, bro. When I got on that plane, I knew that it was only a certain amount of time before I was going to have to jump out that bitch. Like, and that's all I could think about. Yeah. And I had my girl with me, and one of my other friends. Yeah, we all jumped. And I'm not going to lie, I was nervous. But even though I knew I was going to be straight, I knew I was going to be safe, it just was the fact that ever since a child, I'm like, yeah, that's one thing I never would do is jump out of a plane.
How did you know you were gonna be straight?
I had faith. Shit, I walk by faith, not by sight. You know, I'm like,
100%.
man, God got me, bro. I'm
100%.
like, I swear to
That's
God,
how I be, man.
bro. I'm telling you, I would not make this up. Like, literally, we sat on that plane. We started going up. Once we passed about like 1,000 feet, I was excited. I was joyous and everything for like the first 20 seconds, like 10, 20 seconds. Then I'm like, I just sat there, and I wasn't like psyching myself out. I was really trying to. I was balancing myself. I was boosting myself and fighting off the fear at the same time. Like, bro, don't worry about it. You straight. Don't worry about it. God got you. Don't worry about it. And bro, when they opened the plane, I was the first one to jump in my group. Like, when they opened the plane, it was one dude. He was jumping by himself, and then my group, it was me, my girl, and my friend. So I was the first one to jump. And shit, mind you, I told my instructor I wanted a crazy. He said, "Do you want a safe, regular experience, or do you want something crazy and something crazy and wild?" I was like, "It's my birthday. I want it goddamn wild and crazy."
You wanna risk
so, bro, now I'm not gonna lie, I was very like nervous. But then once he strapped me in, like, cause he sitting behind me the whole time, but he ain't strapped me in. So once he strapped me in, I'm like, okay, I'm safe. I got a parachute on me now. Even though this nigga got to be trained professional. So anyway, we jump out the plane. This man did a backflip jumping out the plane, bro. And when I leaped, he said you got to jump and tuck. Man, when I leaped, bro, I overcame all my fears, bro, for real. Like, when I got back to the ground. Because as soon as I jumped, I'm like, I just want to hit the ground. But I seen so much shit up there, bro. I could see Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. I could see, like, the Atlantic Ocean. We were just spinning around. He was like, look over there, look over there. And he let me control that shit for a little bit. Like, that shit, but it was crazy. When I got back on that ground, bro, I feel like I could do anything.
Word, man.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's lit, man. I mean, you never.
We gotta go one day, bro.
Oh no, for sure, bro. Like I said, I fear none, man. I'm down, to be honest with you, man. It sounds like a wonderful, fun experience, man. But you know, that's crazy though, man. A backflip, because to be honest, like for me, I'll probably start overthinking. You said tuck and
bro. As soon as I just jumped and started screaming, bro, I just started screaming, and it wasn't even like a lot of people experience. You know, when you go on a roller coaster, that shit make your stomach feel empty. I thought it was gonna make my body feel empty, but you're not fighting against gravity. You just falling with it. So it really. Only thing you feel is just the wind hitting you type shit. And it's like you know you falling, but you don't feel like that same feeling as a roller coaster.
But you want to know what's really important? The importance of being calm in situations.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed, like, you know, in a lot of situations when things happen, I'm always calm. Like, even in disputes, arguments, I'm always calm. Just because when you're calm, you're able to use your mind. When you're upset, when you're anxious, when you're scared, that's when you can't think. Because I remember it was this guy, he actually jumped from a plane and it was like some type of like malfunction or something like that. And when he was falling, he just accepted it. He was like, well, I mean, there's nothing I could do. So eventually when he hit the ground, he actually got caught by some trees. so and like he woke up, he was like, oh man, shit. He was like, oh man, shit, I got a second chance. You feel me? So it's basically like, man, you gotta look at it. That's how I look at everything. Like you said, like you walk by faith. Like me too, man. Like I really don't be like, you know, sometimes you definitely like, cause you know fear is an emotion, but like 9 times out of 10, I'm not too fearful. If I feel fearful, I'm like, I gotta do this because I gotta get this out of here, man. The only thing, I'm not even gonna lie, that I kind of like, that I kind of psych off is kind of like elevators. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Cause you feel like the shit might just drop out of nowhere.
Nah, it's kind of like I don't like being out of control. When you're in the elevator, when I'm in the elevator, I'm not in control.
Yeah,
like
true.
The elevator's controlling when I go up, when I go down. If it wants to open, if it doesn't, I can't. I can't get out if I want to. But I mean. That's how I feel. That's really how I feel about it.
My big sister used to be terrified of elevators. Luckily, she passed it now, but we would have to take the stairs so much, because when she would be scared, we had to take the step.
Yo, you want to know a funny story? I remember one time we went to Grady, right? Some places in the hospital, you got to take elevators to go there.
Yeah, and when you go lower, like to those certain floors.
Yeah, some certain. But the thing about it is, Grady has like 80 flights of stairs.
Yeah,
I remember, bruh, my mom cussed me out, bruh.
Yeah, you take the stairs because you was scared?
Bruh, because I told her I was going to take the stairs. She said, okay, I'm going to take the stairs with you. Bro, it was so crazy because like I was running up the stairs. I'm like, bro, we finna get up here, and it was because I think it was like on the 20th floor or something like that. And I was like, I looked, and I was like, it said it was on the 5th floor. I'm like, damn, because we just going up in circles, up in circles. And my mom said,
it's like really like 2 sets of steps per floor type shit. So no
man, and I'm not because the elevator make it seem sweet.
Yeah, no, it is.
Man, it's crazy.
Technology amazing. But I know we wanted to talk about some things regarding the mental health because, you know, and it kind of goes back to the quote that you said with, you know, being depressed or being anxious. Like, it's really, right now I was reading a study, and I forgot where I think USA Today, and it was saying 9 out of 10 therapists have seen like a big jump in clientele over the past 2 years, like throughout the pandemic and shit.
Because, you know, actually nowadays, you know, a lot of people are starting to take their mental health a little bit more serious, which is very important as well.
Yeah.
And then, but why do you think that, because they said now more people are anxious, more people are depressed. Mm-hmm. Well, why do you think that is?
Well, one thing that they were saying is that basically more people, we've always had mental health. All right, so they were saying more people are being comfortable with actually speaking on it and seeking help. You know what I'm saying?
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah, people are being more open because now it seemed like such a regular thing because all the shit that's going on in the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it was saying 1 out of 7 clients are stating social and racial injustice as a cause of their mental health. Wow. So I think that's really powerful, especially like, for example, with the thing that was going on with Ahmaud Arbery. Recently, like with that whole trial case being public, like that was a very, very touching case for all sides because I don't really necessarily play like off color. It's more so off how your heart is. So like whether you a man of color or you know whatever, it's just about how your heart is. So I know plenty of people who not black who was hurt throughout watching that shit just because of how traumatic it was. Like you seen the video, like you know what I'm saying, that shit is really crazy. And they went the whole trial just went open like throughout the fucking world, like that brain broadcasted throughout the world. And I think that's really, it's powerful because it shows you how much of an effect shit can happen when the whole world is feeling it. Exactly. So that's why it's strong to really build your mental. Like me personally, I never have had mental health issues or things like that. I know like the top forms of it, like the 3 forms is like clinical depression, having anxiety, like an anxiety disorder or bipolar disorder. And I'm happy to say I never had to face those things, but I can see how that may mess with your mental if you going through things like what we seen on TV every day. You know what I'm saying? You know, growing up, we seen shit like that. Not necessarily witness it with our eyes. We've experienced things like that. We've been exposed to it almost all the time. So
to be honest, like for me, like I'm not gonna say that I don't have anxiety, but I think I probably had like anxiety traits before. Cause you know, like growing up in certain places and stuff like that. Cause you know, growing up in the hood, you know, things happen.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, sometimes it'll kind of always be in the back of your mind, like some negative shit is about to go down. Like,
yeah. Or
it could just be a chill moment, and it was like, damn, somebody could come in here and just do some bullshit.
Right.
Cause you know, but that's kind of like what you kind of
get accustomed to it though.
It's not getting accustomed to them. It's like you seen this shit happen before. You know it's real, right? And you know it's a possibility of that happening before. But like for me, because I remember one time, at one point I got into like 2 bad car accidents, and I remember like I was on the lookout for things that didn't happen, like for oncoming cars, because like when I was driving, like literally this car came out of nowhere, just side side swipe me. Oh, like okay. I'm going straight, and then she just came literally like from my side and just boom hit my car. I'm like, damn. So what happened? She was trying to run because she hit somebody else and she was trying to run, and then she hit me. I'm like, damn. So I remember when I was driving, like I was doing unnecessary avoidance because I'm like, bro, somebody finna come. But eventually I got over that just because I just accepted it. I feel like with a lot of things, you just gotta accept like things are gonna go wrong, and you know it's not in your control. So you
kind of like dude who jumped out the plane.
Yeah, you just gotta walk by faith. You feel me? Like if it was meant to happen, it's gonna happen. That's how I see it. If that's how it was supposed to go down, that's definitely how it's gonna. You know what I'm saying? If you were supposed to have an accident that day, there's really nothing you could do.
That's because you have a strong mind and you've been able to build that up. Like my dad, for example, he always built me mentally since a young little boy to tell me like you can do anything. Your mind is strong. He always built my mental up. So I will always, like I think we were talking about this before, like your child will become whatever you basically telling them.
Most
to, like,
definitely.
you know what I'm saying? So he didn't give me a choice whether to think about whether my mind was strong or whether, you know what I'm saying, he used to tell me that shit, like your mind controls everything, you know what I'm saying? All of that. So it built me up to where when things happen for me, I just know I always have that faith in me to know like everything gonna be all right. And like you said, if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. If it's not, it's not. So it ain't no point in trying to worry about it or be nervous or anything like that. But what are some tips or ways that you think for people who are battling with mental health, like that could probably help them if you know of some?
To be honest, one of the major reasons for mental health, I know, especially in the male community, that people have is definitely with finance. I feel if you can get, because definitely money plays a big role, because like sometimes when you're in a bad place financially, you feel like you're basically like you're really in a hole. Like you just feel like you just
it's worse for a man because as a man, as men, we are known to be the providers.
Exactly.
You can't provide regardless of how you feel about money. Like you can't provide for your family without it. A lot of people say like money can't buy happiness and shit, but it can buy you safety. It can buy you goddamn peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? I can't pay my bills with air. So if I had the money, to pay for my bills and put food in the fucking fridge and shit for my family, then that's gonna provide me the headspace that I need to have a healthy mental. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the men out there who you don't have the money per se, that's what caused a lot of men to like go rob and steal. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I feel like that's not the only way, because although as a man and as a provider, you gotta have the bread to provide for your family, you gotta also know that your family, if they know that you're in a certain position. For example, I'm working right now, making money and shit. I know if something happened to me tomorrow to where I got now, Lord forbid, but if I couldn't write no more for some reason. I couldn't write. Or if I
broke your hands or something like that?
Yeah, let's say I feel like let's say when I jumped out of the plane, my shit went left and I landed on my legs and my legs broke, right? On some crazy shit, right? And I can't walk. It's a certain period to where I'm going to not be able to make the money that I was just making because I'm not even mobile no more. But I know that my family they're not going to look at me as less than because they know I'm in a certain
But the
position.
thing about it is, another thing I want to talk to is about playing your strengths. So okay, you're not able to walk no more, right? Mm-hmm. What can you do? You can still ride.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So now you got to make that transition. So now I have to use the strengths. You have to use the strengths that you have in life. Stop looking at the things that you don't have, because looking at the things you don't have is just basically going to put you in a depressed state. It's going to make you like, I don't have this, I don't have that. No, what do you have? Everybody has something. Even a homeless man on the streets has something. Because I know you've been in Atlanta. You go to the gas station, they're preaching you some knowledge.
Yeah.
So basically, that knowledge that they have and everything that's going on, they could put that towards. They could put more energy towards that strength that they have.
And that's actually, like, I remember one of the quotes you said is by Henry Ford: if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can. And either way, you're right.
Matter of fact, if you want to hear more wonderful quotes, please check out our Instagram, because we be dropping some knowledge on there, some motivation. Sure. We'll definitely get you right. The Laudio Life Podcast on Instagram.
And if you like some of the content that you're hearing right now and some of the tips that we're giving you, make sure y'all give us a like and a subscribe, because we know we're giving y'all a lot of value. So if you like it and you fuck with it, go ahead and show us that you fuck with it.
Most definitely. And also let us know how you feel.
But continue, though.
But, like I was saying, you definitely got to really look at your strengths and some of the things that you do have. Stop looking at what you don't have. Right. Because when you look at the things that you don't have, like I said, it's going to put you in a depressed state. It's going to make you like, damn, I don't have this, I don't have that. But you have something that's going to be an asset to you. So, like, if your legs are broken, right, your hands work, right? Your mind still works.
I was about to say your mouth work.
As long as the mind is probably a mind is a terrible thing to waste. As long as your mind works, you're still in the game.
As long as you got air in your lungs, you're still in the game.
Exactly.
You know 100%. What I'm saying? So, like, for example, if my legs was broke, shit, my arms still work, the whole upper half of my body still work, I'm gonna easily, and my mind is amazing, so I can find any type of like work from home remote job on the computer.
Matter of fact, you can become look at Helen Keller, man. On a previous episode, Helen Keller could not see, and she was an author.
Right, exactly.
That's crazy.
So how can you? There's no. My dad didn't even let me say can't growing up. I'm telling you, I used to get in trouble if I said can't.
Matter of fact, like, I try. You know, I'm trying to actually take the word can't out of my vocabulary. When I try to talk to people, I try to tell them I can't, or I'll just be like, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because or like nah,
for me
not
to
right
do
now.
It would take too much time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say because I can't, because like you can do everything. You can do anything. You can do everything. You just gotta put that in your mind. Like really, like it's crazy, man. Like your mind really can. People really tend to forget that you are in control of your body. You're in control of everything that's going on.
Right. Now look, just so we can kind of help the people out there take control of their lives, you know, especially like the men out there who aren't able to have that financial security that they're looking for. What are some tips or some ways, you know, that they probably can build their credit or get some more income in the home, or you know, what's some ways you want to share?
Okay, now off rip, I ain't no financial advisor, but I'm about to let you know what I did. For me, I built my credit. What I did is, step one, I got me one of those secure credit cards.
Okay.
You know, you give them $500 or something like that, or $100. I think my first one was like $300, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just get that.
Let me ask real quick, not to cut you off. How old were you when you first got that credit card?
When I first got my first credit card, I think I was about 19 or something like that.
Okay, now that's not bad. Tips out there for the people who have kids. Try to get your kids started younger than 19. Try to get them started with a credit card as young as like maybe 15 or 16. Because when I'm about to drop on y'all, if you actually start that, the younger that they are, the better that it'll work out for your kids. So just try to put that out there. But go ahead.
So I was about 19. It was this guy, Charles Patterson. He's my financial advisor. He was like, definitely you should start trying to build credit, because the sooner the better. Because when you look at the credit categories, because old folks always say you got to know the game to play the game. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at the categories. They look at your credit history, payments, and
length of your credit.
Credit history. One of the biggest. How much revolving credit you have. You know, just different things like that. But what I did, I got that $300 credit card, and I just kept on using a little bit of it. You know, a lot of people say keep it under 30%. And, you know, they say you only use 10%. Mm-hmm. But eventually I was like, a $300 limit. You know, I started playing around with it, right? Mm-hmm. So what I did, I was running everything through that credit card.
Okay.
I was running any payments or anything that I had to pay, I put it on the credit card and paid it off immediately. Mm-hmm. Like literally immediately. Like if I went in the if I went in the store and spent $250, literally while I'm walking out, transfer credit card payment is paid. Okay. And then when that's paid off, I got $300 again, and I just keep doing that. And when you keep doing that, the bank is gonna see like, damn, you know, Bernard, he using a lot more money, and he only has $300 in credit. So what they did, they would say, hey, you could we could give you a credit limit increase. So they raised my credit to like around, I'll say maybe like $800, right? And I was doing the same thing, just putting everything through my credit card, and then boom. I got at a point, like I was probably spending like maybe a band or 15 on a credit card at a time, even though I had $800 limit, because I was paying it off immediately. Mm-hmm. And then I hit them up at the time. I was like, hey, you kind of see what I'm saying?
Let me get a little more.
Let me get a little bit more. So when they seen it, was like, this man really spending money, because like credit card companies, they want you to spend money. That's how they're gonna make money, because either they're gonna make the money from the interest, or they're gonna make money from the from the usage from like they charge a fee. Right. I don't know if you know, like
when you use your card,
when you use your card, they're gonna you know, them little transaction fees.
Chips, or when you swipe the transaction fee.
Yeah, those little transaction fees. Yeah. So they charge the merchant,
right?
The person you buying from. So they're gonna make money. If you don't use the card, they're not gonna make any money.
Right.
So they was like, okay, man, you using a lot of money. So my credit limit went up to $3,500. So, you know, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm at $3,500. Let me apply for another credit card.
Right.
I'll apply for another credit card.
Same bank or a different bank?
A different bank. Okay. I'll apply for another credit card. That credit card, they was like, you know what? He already got a $3,500 limit. So we want him to use our credit card a little bit more. So we're going to give him a $5,000 limit. Mm-hmm. They gave me a $5,000 limit because they want me to use that card they want me to use their card other than the other card, and they see that I have experience with a little bit.
You know how to handle your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's what you gotta show the banks and corporations. You know how to handle money.
Yes.
You know how to manage large amounts of money. They're not gonna give you money that you never had before.
Right.
So
and then you could just continue to do that process and continue to raise your credit limit up as much as you want. And also, like, that's what I be trying to explain to people up here in Nissan when I'm breaking it down to them why either they can or can't get the car. Is because your credit is just, it's like your stand. It's your relationship.
It's your face card.
Like, it's your face card.
It's
and it's about your rep and the relationship that you have with the banks. And if you got good rep, a good reputation of handling your money well, then they're going to be more willing to give you this loan.
You know,
but if you don't fucked up your face card, you know what I'm saying, doing some fool shit in the past, they not going to fuck with it. You've been late on your past card for 8 times. You really think my bank about to approve you for a $40,000 loan right now? No, it ain't gonna happen. So you gotta make sure you build that relationship, maintain it, and have a good face card with the banks if you want to keep using their money to help you make more money. You know what I'm saying? No, I think you done flip that down credit shit.
Man, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, I really ran it up off of this, literally, to really just 40 bands in credit, that I really, because the higher your credit, like the higher revolving credit that you have, so like I could spend I could spend around 20 bands, that'll be half of the credit I have, and I still be good, and I can still continue to run it up a little bit more. But now I'm about to transition to another aspect. So I got the credit cards on lock, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm about to use another aspect of the credit game, right?
Right.
So now with the 40 bands of credit that I do have, so now when I go to the bank, now it's time to get the legit loans.
Yeah.
Because now they see I got 40K in credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could use that, but the interest rate is too high. I don't want to use that, right? So now I'm about to come and say, hey, can I get something? So, your credit score is going to be out. You got 40 bands in credit, and you use your credit. So I'm going to say, hey, can I get something that, at a 2%, 3% interest rate, 4%, 5% the highest, something, that's going to combat inflation. So it's basically like almost free money, and you use that money to invest and flip. Mm-hmm. That's my strategy. That's what I'm doing. And another thing, I remember one thing I was doing with these credit cards, I was getting a credit card with 18 months, no interest, right? Mm. And I'll take that money, and then I'll flip it. I was buying cars. Like I would turn that credit into cash, buy a car, and see, I was playing with my strengths, man. I know my dad a mechanic, my granddad a mechanic. One, my dad he's not gonna let his son fail. I'll go buy a piece of shit car. I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? They'll be selling the car for $1,200. I go over there and I offer them $500, and then they'll be like, dude, you blah blah blah, and then they'll say, and then they'll get that $1,200 down to $800. And I'm like, look, I got $650 for you. Take it or leave it. And I'm like, bro, I got 50 people coming. I'm like, dude, I'm here now. I got a $650 in cash. You want it? If you don't, I'm about to go home. And then they know they got a piece of shit. They take the $650. I'm like, okay, boom. I bring the car. My dad like, dude, why the fuck did you buy this? Like, it was like, oh man. So eventually, he gonna put his time, whatever he got to do. So basically, like from the labor aspect, because fixing a car, a piece of shit, the labor is gonna be expensive. So I was saving on the labor. Mm-hmm. So that $650 that I spent, I'm about to sell that car for $2,000.
Right.
You kind of see, I already that's already more than 100% profit. Right. That's already 100% profit already, past 100%. So I'm making more than 100%. So think about it. If you, so think about it with the 2 bands that I got fronted. If I did that 3 times, you kind of see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I take the cash, pay the credit card company back. So now I got cash in the bank and I got credit. You kind of see what I'm saying? It's like, nigga, I basically just took some shit out the bud, bro. Like literally, I started from negative. I went from 0 to negative to positive, and that's the goal, bro. Like I feel like that's the American dream. But the thing about it is, for you to be able to do that, you gotta have control. Like, I could have easily went out there and went into any car company and got me a Scat Pack, a Hellcat, or Corvette, any types of shit, and just been driving around and paying that shit off. Why would I do that on a depreciation asset? And I don't have, and you're not bringing in that much money anyways. You need to have cash in the bank for you to do that. That's what I try to tell people, like with cars and different things that you buy, you gotta like hold off on the flashy shit. And then when you get yourself right, because cash is king. No matter what anybody say, cash is king. It don't matter how much credit you have. You have $1 million in credit, but you have $0. Like, what, dude? Come on now. You gotta have some cash in the. Cash is king. I don't care what anybody say. Cash is king.
Cash is king, but I'm gonna oppose you on that, my brother. I'm gonna say cash and credit are king.
No,
it's one of the
cash
things.
is fucking
but
king.
It's about how you use it, bro.
Listen.
If you're not responsible with your credit, then of course that shit is gonna be negative. But if you're not responsible with your cash, it also can work the same way. If my cash is king and I have goddamn 50 bands in cash and I got a fucking $1,000 credit card and I blow my 50 bands on a big ass play, lose my profit, and my fucking rent is due tomorrow and it's hypothetically $500 in rent, and I know that I'm gonna be going back to work the
Let me ask you a question.
Then I can pay my rent with that credit card. And that credit is what saved my ass. Because if I had no cash, I'd be put out or I have a late fee.
But the thing about it is, you don't want to use no credit card for like credit card. I feel like I don't tell credit cards are not emergency funds. For me, I feel like I use this stuff as business leverage.
Right. No, you want to use it as a leverage. I'm saying in a worst case scenario, you must always be prepared for all aspects.
But let me tell you why credit is king, right? Let's say you got
cash
a car.
Is king. You just said credit.
Damn, my bad.
Go ahead.
Cash is king. Let me say it again. Cash is king.
All right, put me down.
So let me tell you why cash is king. You want to know why? If you're selling a car, right?
Yeah.
And then it's one of this car that you have guys having Nissan, and I come in there and somebody else come in there, and this guy has an 850 credit score, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect credit score. And I come in here with the full cash value. Let's say the car is 40 bands. I come in there with 40 bands cash. Who would you guys rather sell it to? The dude with an 800 credit score or the dude who bring you 40K cash?
Now, I understand where you're going with this, but if this was a real scenario, if we got bro approved, we definitely go sell it to him because we make money off of doing the financing. We make money off of back end, front end growth and things like that. If you come in with cash, just a regular cash deal, one-time transaction. So we would take that deal. But if it's the end of the month and we're really trying to get some units out, we probably gonna take that cash deal because we want to just get this shit out the way. Like better scenario is if we had that car in our lot for 60 days and we need to get it gone, then we're gonna go ahead and get that shit off because it's an easy transaction.
You know what? Matter of fact, maybe that's a bad example. Let's say a house. Because I know because it was a guy who was telling me he was buying a house at one point, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was a guy they already started the process with somebody else, but getting a house and everything like that, it takes a process. It takes probably about a month or two for everything to be done. He said he came in there with a cash because think about it, if you're financing, it's gonna take about a month. If you're paying with cash, it takes about 2 weeks. So the relative was like, hey, you know what? F this guy. This guy has what we got going on. This guy got money now and he got cash. Soon as the check clears, like, hey, dude, come in here and sign these paperwork. Anything that you do, he had the keys in 2 weeks. Well, really, he was already in the house in I think in a week and a half, and he said everything was done, man. So that's why I feel like cash is king because when you have cash, you good, man. Cash is king.
Cash can be king, so can credit. I'm just putting it out there because, like I said, that credit, that 850 that you're speaking on with that fucking.
I actually didn't know that, bro.
I'm putting it down, bro. Hey. That 850 with that $100 credit limit. You know what I'm saying? With that good reputation that you was explaining, bro. We gonna fuck with, bro, because we got that. We know we have more profit. We have more to gain from taking that route as opposed to killing that deal right then and there. But at the end of the day, that is the time, you know what I'm saying? If y'all appreciate some of the knowledge that we was giving, make sure y'all comment down below. If you have some mental health issues or have some questions about mental health, or questions about anything, y'all can always leave us a comment. We like to read all the feedback. You can shoot us email, you can shoot us a DM on our Instagram, Twitter, all of that. We appreciate every listener. Thank you for listening. Nard, you have something to say?
Cash and credit is king.
Enjoy your week. We'll see you next week.